Welcome to the Yaakov class for
Right.
today. Today is the English date, October 31st.
31st, Halloween,
31st.
pagan
No, it's not
retardedness.
Halloween today. We don't talk about that. But today is the 29th, going now into the 30th day of Tishrei. It's called Erev. Right now it's already Rosh Chodesh because it's already the night. So it's the Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, the New Year Cheshvan. It's the new month. We're starting now the Rosh Chodesh, the head of the month, the new month of. Come in.
Don't hurry. Don't worry. We'll still be here.
No.
Is today
Oh,
different? Did I
okay.
miss something?
He's also bringing food.
No.
Okay. Anyways, let's go. So today's Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, the head of the new month of the month of Cheshvan. So, anyways, last week we were talking in the class. Not last week, actually, before Sukkot. We were talking in the class about bathroom manners and which hand you should use, etc. So we could continue talking a little bit about the bathrooms and move on to next topics. So it says the rabbis come along and they say, who's considered somebody that is modest? Someone that is going to use the bathroom by night in the same place where he uses it by day. What does that mean to say? What that means to say is, just like by daytime, a person is going to make sure no one's watching and he's going to go far away and he's going to go to a place where no one can see him. And this is talking about pre-bathroom facilities era. So when a person will have to go to the field, so he would go far away. He would go to a place where no one can see him. So also by the nighttime, you should also go and distance yourself by nighttime. So the Gemara takes issue with that. Is that true?
Yeah.
Aini? Is that true?
No, it's lying.
Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Rav, a person should get himself used to going to the bathroom very early in the morning. And very early and like right before sunset and right after the sun goes down. This way he won't have to go so far. He won't have to distance himself. That's a different saying of the rabbis. What do you see from that saying? It's a little bit of a Talmudic way how you...
It's a riddle.
It's like a Talmud. This is what a Talmud's full. Like questions back and forth. So what do you see from here? It says you should go early at night, so you shouldn't have to go far. What does that imply? It implies that by nighttime, you don't have to go the same place where you're going by daytime. Get it? Contradiction. This is what Gemara is about. One place says this, one place says that. Doesn't match. Got to come up with answers. And to make the question even stronger, we bring down from a different rabbi that says Rava. It says Rava during the daytime, he used to go up to a whole mile, like almost a kilometer away from where people were in order to use the bathroom. But by nighttime, he would say, he would tell his servant, let's just go out to the city, to the streets. And he would do it we wouldn't go so far. So we see clearly there's no need by nighttime to go far away. And another Rabbi Zera, a different rabbi, would tell, if he was me in the study hall, he would ask his servant, go check outside if I could use the restroom outside behind the synagogue. It's okay to use the restroom there by nighttime. So we see from all this that by nighttime it's not so important to distance yourselves. What does it mean in the beginning of when we started off by saying a modest person uses the restroom by nighttime, the same place where he uses it by daytime? So the Gemara answers by saying changed it a little bit. Change it. It doesn't mean that a person should use the bathroom in the same place by nighttime, the same place he should use it daytime. Doesn't mean the same place. What it does mean is the same conduct. Just like by daytime, if people were around, you would make sure to be modest. You would cover yourself. You would do it privately, and you would make sure no one sees. Also by nighttime, when no one's watching and no one can see you, even then you should be modest. That's the explanation. And this is also a lesson to us. When you're in the bathroom privately and no one's there, also supposed to conduct yourself properly. with the proper, like we said last time we had the class, only to uncover what you need to uncover, and that's very important. Another explanation how to fit to reconcile the two sayings is that if someone has a like a private corner, Karen Zub, if someone has like a corner where he uses the bathroom, let's say he found this little nook where he uses the bathroom by daytime, so by nighttime, if not, we're not talking about it's far away, but yeah, it's nearby. So by nighttime, even though no one sees him, is still supposed to use that same nook. Taking this story practical to us in our days, what we could learn from this Gemara for ourselves is, number one, in the bathroom we should conduct ourselves modestly, and number two, if you're ever on the road and you're going to the bathroom and you buy and it's dark outside, don't think to yourself, oh, anyways, no, it's easy, so I'll just do whatever I want, act however I want to act. You still have to act modest, because real modesty is not for a second person. Real modesty is for God, and that is, we have to be modest wherever we are in all situations, and that is that. There's another saying, another piece of Gemara speaking about the bathroom over here. I don't know if it's done these days, but there was this idea of massaging the area of the backside, which would help for constipation. And so the Gemara says that should be done before one removes his clothing, because otherwise, just being, like we said last time, being exposed and doing
should be limited.
It should be supposed to be limited. And if you are exposing yourself and doing it after you're doing it, then you could bring upon yourself different bad spirits, and they could come onto you. And it says if you do, the bad spirits are coming to you, there's a certain thing you could say, meaning as a backup.
And if you can't say, then you
as
can
a
say
backup,
another thing and then jump through
it says,
times.
no, it says over here you should say lately, not for me, not for me. Loitachem, loitachtin, that's the name of those witchcraft that come, the evil spirits that could come to the bathroom, that's their names. Loihani, loimahani, shouldn't work what you want to do to me. Loicharshi decharsha, loicharshi decharsha. This, not the spells from the sorcerer, not the spells from the sorceresses, nothing should come onto me. Basically, by you saying that, you are like, kind of like cancel out.
And how often
there.
should you say this?
You say it one time. This is only if it already happened that you person exposed himself and doesn't want to be now at risk of these evil spirits coming onto.
This begs a whole Pandora's box of questions.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
This,
that was.
okay. So, admittedly, there are evil spirits. Admittedly, they afflict people.
We spoke about this many times. We're not denying that there's evil spirits. They just don't have. They have, God gives them powers. So whatever power they have is from God. And at the end of the day, they will only hurt someone that God allowed them to hurt.
So what if I try to conjure them?
Well, it depends. There might be a judgment if you are worthy of conjuring them. In other words, we're actually going to learn later. That's actually the next piece. Let me just go to the next piece. Okay? Ben Azai says, speaking about these types of things, he's speaking about the bathroom. So Ben Azai came out with a statement, and he said, a person can lay on any type of bed, doesn't matter, just don't lay on the floor when you go to sleep. This is talking about when you don't have any separation. Like on the actual ground outdoors, it's not healthy to lay on the floor to go to sleep. It could bring to cold, or different sicknesses.
It takes the heat out of you.
Right. And then he says, sit wherever you want, but don't sit on a beam, like just a plain beam high up, because you might fall.
A beam of what? And
the third thing is,
you don't know what a beam
a
is?
beam, like a beam of wood, or a beam of steel, whatever you want.
A natural beam or a main beam?
No, like a plank of wood, like you have a gate.
The I-beam, it's called the I-beam, those metal beams that look like an eye. The structure of the building.
Structure. You ever see a beam like that?
And you're like,
So if someone's gonna be cool, I'm gonna climb up over there and sit on top, and see I can sit up there. So don't do that. Which actually, they just.
You couldn't.
This? Don't sit on this, or
So if you
A
see,
wood
yes, a
beam.
beam, yes. If you see those beams
Okay.
and they
If I saw
suspended
this
in
in the
the air,
Gemara times, which it didn't exist.
if you
before.
see a beam
up a
suspended
Tudor
in the
house.
air,
Tudor
a
house.
beam suspended in the air, don't sit on it because it's dangerous. You might fall.
And don't, some boys surf.
Right?
How do you know
Oh,
that video game?
no, so that's what's the reason why you can't sit on a beam? Because a person is not allowed to put himself in a sakana. You're not allowed to put yourself in a potential danger. What's the reason? Now, there's the practical reason that you might get hurt, right? But there's also a deeper reason, and this answers your question. Okay, every given moment of the day, there is judgments, spiritual judgments that are taking place on us. What should happen now? I'm walking here. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Should I fall? Should I not fall? These judgments are going on around us. Now, on a regular, steady person that didn't do anything wrong or whatever, he's living his life the way it's supposed to be, he's able to get away with positive judgments, and he won't get hurt, and he won't fall, and he won't collapse, and he won't drop dead.
And what about Yom Kippur?
Now, when you do certain dangerous things, now the judgments are double. Because you right now are hanging in the air and very prone to fall. So you need now extra protection. You need now extra protection not to fall. So if you want to not fall off this beam, where you are right now, Yaakov, if you want to not fall off this beam, you got to be worthy. So now the angels in heaven are saying, hey, 1 second. This guy did this, this, and this, and this. Why should we be protecting him? Why should we be holding him back from falling? There's a wind coming right now. Why should we? And then the bad angels. It's a true thing. The bad angels, they say this guy did this and this. We know exactly what he did because we got him to do it, and we know we have his reckoning exactly what he did. He deserves to fall. Let's give him a push. It's not a joke. That's why this person is not allowed to put himself in potential dangers, because he's putting himself up to judgments with
Sitting on a beam, like
we're talking about a dangling from a high beam. Where that's a danger. We're not talking about sitting on the beam on the floor. You have a cross beam. You're building a sukkah.
sitting 20 feet on the.
Or whatever is considered dangerous. Now, of course, you can say, "Oh, for me, it's not dangerous." But for you, it's not dangerous because you haven't. I told him just today, my son. I told him to put on his helmet. He says, "No, I never get hurt by my head." I told him, you're not supposed to wait until you get hurt on your head and then put the helmet. You got to put it on before, right? So whenever you're doing something that's considered dangerous, or you're driving a bike or you're driving a motorcycle, you got to put a helmet because you got to, right? Charlie knows about it, right?
Yeah.
You had a helmet when you had your accident?
Yeah, but I didn't have the full one. I had a half face. That they told me, my sister told me that they had to put stitches in my eyelids.
Right. Okay. You're not allowed to put yourself in a situation that's dangerous because the judgments at that point are more severe.
What about soldiers? Say in Gaza now.
Okay, so they have certain
They also have to
dangers.
wear
You also
helmets.
have flying an airplane. People ask, are you allowed to fly an airplane? There are certain risks that you're allowed to take. But when it comes to going beyond the regular risk that people are taking, you need to ask yourself, am I worthy of it? Is it okay?
Say for soldier in Gaza, spirits behave differently.
If he's doing the right thing and he's protecting the Jewish people, then God's giving him extra protection. The Jewish soldiers in Gaza have extra protection now because they're doing what Hashem wants them to do. They're protecting the Jewish people, so they have extra protection. But it still is dangerous. Does that mean that an untrained person right now should go and say, "Oh, I'm going to go now, volunteer, and I'm going now"? No, that's putting yourself in danger.
So that's why we're going to send you, and you'll get trained, and then we'll give you a helmet, and then...
Okay.
Yasha already came back from that, no?
What?
Okay, Yasha?
You did it?
I'm there right now.
Okay. There was a famous rabbi. His name was Bar Kapara.
What happens if you're
And
not a famous
he...
rabbi?
Everyone in the Gemara is famous.
Barca Rafa, what's his name?
Bar Kapara. We mentioned
son
him.
of
We mentioned him before. We mentioned him before davening. So Bar Kapara, he used to sell for $1 dinar. Used to sell one liner. One. What? How do you pronounce it? Maxims. M-A-X-I-M.
Maxims.
Maxims. He would sell maxims. He would sell like a one-liner. Now the commentaries talk about it. You're not according to the Jewish law. You're not allowed to charge for Torah study. You're not allowed to charge for Torah wisdom. So he would charge for other wisdoms, for common
Anecdotes.
sense.
Good advice, $1. Bad advice,
So here,
$2, right?
remember we had those stories about the interpretations of the dreams.
Yeah.
Used to charge for that.
Flush the toilet only after you use it.
Okay, so here's the maxims of Bar Kapara. Number 1, when you're hungry, eat right away.
No.
Don't push off your
you
eating
have.
for later, if you have food, obviously, or right after you feel the hunger, because that's why they're eating now. That's why they wanted to eat. Because
No,
they
it's
were
because
hungry.
Nash Express is bar dynamics.
So they were eating now because they were
So-
hungry. So when you're hungry, you have to eat now. Don't push it off to later, because once your hunger goes away and then you eat, so the food is less effective. The food going into the body is
You missed
more
your chance.
effective.
Because
Right.
you should
Right.
eat earlier.
So
It's a mitzvah from non-grama, so we
and the
don't
food
have to do
won't
it.
be as beneficial to the body if you eat it when you're not. Also, the Rambam rules. The Rambam has in Maimonides writes that a person should only eat when you're hungry. I think most nutritionists say the same thing. You shouldn't eat only when you're hungry. Number 2
If
is
you listen to nutritionists, you won't be in this world very long.
what?
If you listen to nutritionists,
So if you listen to the Talmud, then you don't have a problem. Okay, number 2 is when you're thirsty, drink while you're thirsty, and don't postpone it till later. And the third one is this is where it connects with the bathroom situation, is when the words that he said is when your pot is bubbling, pour it out, which means when your body is
when you gotta go,
you gotta go and don't push it off, because like we're gonna learn later today that it could be dangerous to push it,
Detrimental.
very very dangerous to push it off. And the last thing he said was when you hear the marketplace, they used to have this horn that they would blast when it came time to sell the fig, when the fig market would open up. So when you hear the horn blast, right away go, and that's when the customers are coming to buy the figs. So right away sell all your figs, and if a certain son that his father sells figs, even if his father is not around, go quickly and sell it, because otherwise you're going to lose out and miss out on the chance. So these
That's
were his
so
maxims. So
random.
obviously the Chidushei Hagra, he says that this must be deeper meanings over here. This is not just it must be deeper content over here, not just telling us this Barker part. Wouldn't just be telling you these simple facts, but he says these are metaphors. The food is a metaphor for Torah, which means when you have a feeling that you want to add in Torah study, you got to catch in right when you have that feeling, because that feeling is not going to last long, and it's going to fade away, and then you lose out that opportunity. And the same thing when it comes to do a mitzvah. When a person feels inspired and he wants to do a mitzvah, you got to do it right away. Don't push it off. If you have a mitzvah, bali yadcha, when a mitzvah opportunity comes to your hand to do a mitzvah, don't push it away. And the third thing about the pot, the way he explains it, is that when your person is going to get a lot of something, and he says, for example, a oitzer, a treasure, or a person got a lot of money or something, you got a big inheritance, or you got this big chunk of money somehow, right when you get it, pour it out. What does it mean? Pour it out, take some of it, and give it to the poor. And this way, the rest of the money will be safe. If you don't do that, if you don't give it away right away, everything, that's to the poor. Then otherwise, the rest of it won't last. So this is how he explains these.
Even if you make money at night?
At what?
At nighttime?
What's the difference?
You're not supposed to give tzedakah at night.
The Rabbi once said that he once saw a poor person collecting money tzedakah by night, and he gave him money by night. It says, put down Sunnah. So someone came and told him, "Oh, how do you do it? It says you're not allowed to." And he told his father-in-law, the Frierdiker Rebbe, he told him about it. He said, "No, today I gave Beishul, whatever. I gave tzedakah by night," and someone gave me a comment about it. So he said that my father-in-law, the Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, told me that person probably doesn't give tzedakah by day either. If someone's making the comment, he's probably not giving even by daytime. So usually the people that comment are not
What did
the.
they say?
Okay, but what's the answer?
That you're not supposed to give it at night.
It says, it's brought down in some places that it's better not to give by night. Obviously, if your poor person needs money now, you give him now. You don't say, "Oh, I can't give you."
Someone's going to ask at night, you give at night.
Of course.
You don't initiate.
Yeah,
any
you
process,
shouldn't.
you
Yeah,
don't go
right.
to
But this tzedakah box.
You always could give. If you're not coming, David comes to class,
So
he gives
what?
$1 because
The
he
Torah
knows
doesn't just
he's not
waste
going to
its
be here in the
words.
daytime. So he gives the better
The
to give
Torah
by
doesn't
night.
just waste its words, does
Very
it?
clever.
what's
Okay.
the reason not
I'm
to
just
do it?
saying, the
Like,
Torah
it's
doesn't
fine.
waste its words. So what's the point of writing that in the first place? If
So
you
it's
could
not a
anyway get-
Torah, it's written down in some sefer. You need to find out what's the reason. I don't even know what the reason
Can
is.
you just put that for a second? Because I want to ask.
Contrary to, it's got to be a metaphor because it's sort of contrary to this Hasidic idea, or like a, tzaddik refraining from his worldly desires a little bit, waiting a little bit when you're hungry, not eating right away, not eating too much. You know what I mean?
Right, I didn't
It's
think
sort of-
about that.
sort
I
of
actually
goes
did see one of the commentaries that says right away or ma'at achreze, or a little bit afterwards. So maybe that's what you said.
So on Yom Kippur, I'm gonna follow his advice, though.
What?
I'm gonna follow his advice on Yom Kippur.
After Yom Kipper's over, and the fast is over.
No, but then I
instead
usually don't
of
feel
running-
hungry.
No.
My Yetzer Hara specifically makes it right before the fast ends.
Is this true? I was told if you're sick or you're very old and you can't fast on a Yom Kippur, you just do, try to fast until 12 o'clock and then you could eat.
If what age?
On Yom Kippur you don't eat, you
Right.
don't drink. But if you're ill,
No, so it depends how ill you
Ask
are.
your
You
LLB.
need to be very ill, and you also need to speak to a rabbi before Yom Kippur, and the rabbi guides you to what way.
And also a doctor.
You can't do it on your the rabbi's going to ask you if you spoke to a doctor, and if the doctor told you that you can't fast, then the rabbi is going to tell you how to do it. You have to measure before Yom Kippur. You have to prepare small little cups. Each one has to be less than a certain size, and you have to time it out a certain time. You can't drink 2 cups within.
It's more of a hassle to eat on Yom Kippur than not to eat on Yom Kippur.
What if he drinks? What happens then?
It's a sin.
It's a
It's a sin. Yeah, eating on Yom Kippur is a sin.
But the person's not healthy,
So he has to speak to a rabbi. Health comes first, but you have to just do it the right way.
So if you're unhealthy, it's a sin.
The rabbi will make sure
to
you
not eat. I mean,
It's not. You're not allowed to put yourself life in danger.
Really?
Not allowed. That becomes life. Life comes before Yom Kippur.
so real.
So if it's a matter of life and death, speak to a rabbi, and he guides you.
Even if
Tells
it's
you how to
not,
do
but
it.
if it's like very bad.
Okay, let's move on. Abaye told the Chachamim, he told the other sages. He said,
Yeah.
whenever you're gonna have to go in the streets to go to the bathroom, and you're gonna be distancing yourself, like we said, you're supposed to
it's
distance yourself.
nighttime, of course.
Even daytime, we said.
At least you
Right.
can see who's coming after
Right.
you.
So if you're going to distance yourself, you're going out. When you go in there, so basically they had these little paths. They would go to outside the city. Where people used to go to use the bathroom in those days. So don't look around to the sides while you're walking, because you might see women that are using the bathroom, and it's not proper and not modest to see them.
What
so
if you
therefore,
are a woman?
you should focus where you
So
got to
they
go.
never had woman's path, man's path.
Maybe.
It's like that's all.
In
Yeah,
Square,
it's
they
possible.
actually have that. I was in Square. They have one road for a woman and one road for a man.
Okay, but here we're talking about the bathrooms. I think, but when it comes to the bathroom, besides in New York City, most people they understand that you need to respect.
There's
Not just New York
men's
City.
room and women's room, and it's not a unisex.
That's why
bathroom.
make sure to vote no on proposition number 1. Otherwise,
1 through 6.
otherwise there might not be any more concept of men's bathroom and women's bathroom. So make sure to vote no on
Scary,
proposition number
a
1.
lot of these
on the
stars
ballot.
and halachos are gonna go out the
That's the
window.
first
I'm
proposition.
gonna take it to vote.
That's the first proposition on the vote on the ballot. This
I'm
year.
gonna take it to vote.
I didn't vote yet.
Oh, you didn't vote?
Okay, next.
You can vote.
I can vote. Yeah.
Okay, here's a story. We said this is a class of stories of the Talmud. So Rab Safra,
Awesome.
he
guy.
went to use the restroom. So this was apparently a restroom with a door. Okay.
Open the door.
More of a modern restroom. And as he's using the bathroom, using the facilities, Rabbi Abba, different rabbi, he also needed a bathroom. So he came in front of the door and he coughed to indicate presence. He went like that was his way of knocking on the door. Rav Safra, which is inside the bathroom, he says, maybe he recognized the voice. He said, the master could come in. I guess there was a few,
What was the
a
master?
few places over there.
It was a big bathroom.
I guess.
What's a latrine?
I don't know
So
what that is.
now Rabbi
You know
Abba,
what the latrine is?
No.
Military.
latrine is the name of the bathroom. That's what in the English translation, the latrine.
Yeah, but it's like a military bathroom.
Right, but that's
No.
What kind of bathroom is a latrine?
They take a big pit.
There are plenty of bathrooms today, like men's rooms, with
Right.
a lot of urinals.
Right, right.
You ever go to a rest stop?
right.
Like 25 of them in a row.
Right. Wait, but what's latrine? Because that's the word they use. What is it?
Imagine they dig out a pit.
Right.
Train.
They cover it up with wood. They cut out a hole.
Right.
That's it. Go.
Oh, so that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. No doors, no nothing. It's just holes in wood over.
Okay, so that's what it was. So he says the master could come in. No, Abba heard somebody in there, so he didn't come in. He knew the restroom was being occupied, so he waited outside. And then when Reb Safra finished what he had to do, and he came out, Reb Safra gave Reb Abba, which was the one that was waiting outside, rebuked him, and he said, "Why are you acting like the people of Edom, the Edomites, they were known for their immodesty, especially in regards to the bathroom? You're acting like them. He called them a sayer. You're acting like them. You shouldn't have been speaking in the bathroom. You spoke. You shouldn't have been speaking in the bathroom." And he tells them, there's a Mishnah in Mishnayot, in the Masechtas Tamid, which talks about the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple.
Tamid means simple? What do you mean Tamid?
Tamid is, no, the sacrifice. The Tamid sacrificed it. So in this Mishnah it says that the Kohanim, the priests in the Holy Temple, so they have to use the bathroom, right? So where was the bathroom in the Holy Temple? There was a tunnel. There were steps going down, and they had a tunnel going underneath, and to a further away place. Over there was a mikvah, a ritual bath. There was a fireplace to warm up after you went to the ritual bath, and there was a bathroom. So that bathroom, it says there was a beis hakisei. That's the word for bathroom in Hebrew, in Lashon HaKodesh. Beis hakisei literally means the house of the chair. That's how it's called in Lashon HaKodesh bathroom. There was a beis hakisei shel kavod, of honor. There was an honorable restroom. What made this? The Mishnah says, what made this bathroom an honorable bathroom? So what made this bathroom honorable was that there was a door with a lock. Now a lock was an innovation back then.
Wow.
This was back in the Holy Temple times.
They had locks on prison.
So
Wasn't that much of
fancy.
an innovation?
No, on a bathroom, it was an innovation.
And they probably had a yeshiva lock on it, the ones where you just push the button and somebody can from the outside just twist it twice.
Any bathroom has that.
It's so annoying, by the way. Why do they make that?
So the Mishnah says, what was the honor? That it had a lock, and if there was a lock, and if it was locked, you knew somebody was there, and if it wasn't locked, you knew it was. But now, obvious question is, that's pretty obvious. Why do you need to have why does that make it honorable? Why is a lock makes it honorable?
No other bathroom at all.
The reason is because you're not supposed to speak in the bathroom. So if there would be no lock on the door, then you would have to say, "Is anybody here?" And somebody would have to say, "Yes, I'm here." Okay, I'll come back soon.
Or you could say,
That requires speaking.
Is that?
But if there's a lock, no need to speak. You give a little push, you see it's locked, then you walk away. So he rebuked him for speaking. And he told him, I coughed. You should have coughed back. That's how you should have signaled that I was there. And another commentary explains this whole story a little bit different. He wasn't rebuking him for speaking. That wasn't the problem. Speaking is, you're not supposed to speak in the bathroom, but that wasn't the great sin that he did. What he was rebuking him was for, why did you invite me to come in? If you were there, that's not respectful. You should, don't say, come join me. That's not respectful. You should have said,
Assuming there's one
assuming that there was
one toilet.
Or one, like he said, one big
If
one.
there was a couple of toilets, then he would have said, yeah, come on in. Like, why would he...
Right, but he's saying since there's one big stall, even though there was more room for him, but it still wouldn't have been respectful to bring him in.
It doesn't sound like there was more than one opportunity to use the bathroom. Otherwise...
Yeah, he wouldn't have knocked.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have knocked.
Yeah.
Right.
Or, he wouldn't have rebuked him for saying come in, because, of course, he can come in if there's two urinals or two toilets. Two people can use it.
Yeah, the Roman baths, it might have been multiple, I think there
Oh,
was...
the Romans were different. They had whole conversations in the bathrooms.
No, we actually just
completely
said,
open.
no, that's what we just said. When he called him, you're learning from the Edomites, Edomite is Romans. He was saying you're acting like the Romans. The way they're
the
known.
Edomites and Romans.
Yeah, Edomites are Romans. He
I
said
didn't
you're acting like
Actually,
them
no, actually, you're talking for free.
because that was a known thing that they used to be.
It was like Mamish
in
eating
mind.
like a farbringen there. They just came. Everybody was like,
I
Everybody
didn't
had a
know
good
that was a
time.
famous thing.
it was
It's
a it was a famous communal
it
thing.
says
They
it
had-
over here. I didn't know it's a famous thing.
For us, how we were in Gemara, they had their intellectual conversations in the bathroom with each other.
Oh.
I'm guessing the answer is that he responded, I was just finishing up.
Oh, 1 second. So then the Gemara
It
says,
was like I
so
was about to leave.
wait, no. So the end of the story
That's
is
my only guess.
the Gemara wanted to know what was Rav Safra thinking. Why did he do it?
Sure.
Why did he? Why
How
did
can
he
you
invite
give him
him?
that
Even if it was
that's the only-
speaking, whether it was because of the speaking or because of the inviting, he's a great rabbi. He should have known. So he said, Savar, the Gemara says, Rav Safra thought that he was coughing when I'm here. He probably knew that I was here, and he coughed. I thought that the reason why he's coughing is because he was in danger. It was coming out, and it was a situation that it could bring to sakana, and that overrides what sakana is danger.
Okay.
It would have been a dangerous situation if he would have held himself back even for a few more seconds. So that's why I told him to come in, because I didn't want him to be in danger. By him coughing, I thought he was in danger. I thought he already started to come out. Like it says, like we learned in the Brisa, Mishum Gamliel says, if someone is starting to use the bathroom, and he pulls it back up, like to constrain himself because he doesn't want to have an accident, is able to bring to us a sickness called hadrukan. In the English, they translate it as dropsy. It's basically a swelling of the stomach. And if someone is using it for number one, and he starts coming and he like kind of pulls it back to restrain himself, that could bring to a sickness called urakain, which is in English jaundice. Jaundice.
That's when the yellow, you turn yellow.
Yeah.
The
So he said that
liver.
could bring that sickness could come from it. So he thought that by him coughing, it already started to come, and he was an emergency. So he said, "Come in, it's emergency. Come in. Yeah, I'm here, but you're coming in. It precedes that."
Isn't jaundice only from pancreatic cancer? No. Also
Could be,
kidney?
some babies can be born with it.
Babies are born with it, and you have to put them in the
A
sunlight.
liver, it's usually a hepatic, a liver issue, you know. Something like that.
Okay, we'll do another story.
Or it could be, I guess, induced by some sort of urine issue. I'm a foot doctor. I don't know.
I do toast. Don't bother me with the pancreatic crap.
That's it.
Okay, so you have another story. The story is Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar was in the bathroom one time, and he went to the Beis HaKisei, and while he was there, this Roman officer, he needed the bathroom, and he comes there, he sees the rabbi there, he barges in, and he says, "Get out of here." He pulls him out, sends him flying. Great rabbi, Rabbi Lazar.
Listen,
No.
if I had a sword this big, I'd be getting out too.
So he pushed him out. So he left. But then he wanted to see what's going to happen. So he waited around to see. He knew that God wouldn't allow this Roman to chase him away just like that. Must be something deeper going on. So he waited around to see what's going to happen. Or maybe he needed the bathroom, so he waited.
Yeah.
He had to finish what he had to do.
Part two.
But then he sees a snake coming, and it comes exactly where he was sitting just a few moments before, and the snake
Oh, wow.
took care of his reproductive system, or took care of his system, and bit him up, and the guy died. So he
But happily.
figured it. He saved his life. Yeah, that's Hashem didn't want him to die. He wanted that person to die. So that's what he made it happen like that. Yeah, and he said there's a verse. It says ve'etein. It's a verse in Yeshaya. It says ve'etein adam tachtecha. I'm going to give a person instead of you. I'm going to replace one person instead of you. And he said we could say the word Adam, which means person, as Edom. Edom is Edomites, but that is the Rome is referred to as Edom. And this was a Roman officer. So he says, Etein Edom tachtecha. I'm gonna take away a Roman officer instead of you. So he like kind of
In your
thanked
place.
in your place. So this is how he thanked Hashem for this saving his life.
It's like very humiliating and very disrespectful. So it's like you think it's like the worst thing that can happen. Like you're in
And
the
then
middle of doing something, and it's like you get pulled out
Right. And
by a
then
guy. It's humiliating.
Right.
By a guy, and like, but then you realize.
so that's like this could be part of the Gamzel Torah story.
Yeah, it's like Rabbi Akiva and the donkey
Right.
and the rooster and everything. You know. It's like,
Okay. The next topic that we go to is a story.
And a Jew couldn't suck out the poison because it was strife.
What's
Think about
Taifa?
that.
What's Taifa?
Treifa, he's
Oh,
saying.
treifa.
Treifa.
The proper Yiddish pronunciation.
Okay, so the next story, which
Some
is
of us haven't eaten
again
dinner-
connected to the
haven't eaten
bathroom.
dinner yet.
I guess they
Yeah,
do.
just saying.
The Gemara does a search online, bathroom, and any reference to bathroom in Torah, and it comes up. So they put all the collection of the story. But this is before computer searches. So here's the story. I'm going to give you the background of the story. This story happens in the time of King David, but before King David became king. So the king at that time, his name was King Shaul. He was the first Jewish king, the official Jewish, appointed Jewish
Is that
king.
Saul?
Saul, yeah. Saul.
Yeah,
So,
but not everybody speaks Hebrew.
right, you got to tell me the English. That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
That's why you're here. So,
Yeah,
King
yeah.
Saul, at one point felt that God is the presence of God is leaving him. After God basically tested him.
He became insane.
So he didn't become insane. What happened was, no, I'm explaining to you. God gave him two big, massive tests. God tested him in two massive tests, and he failed both of them. God basically gave him two chances. The first chance was that he was told to wait for the prophet Shemuel,
Is that Samuel?
Samuel, and he was told to wait for him 7 days. And he wasn't supposed to start the battle until Samuel came. And meanwhile, the Pelishtim, the Philistines, were gathering, and the war was about to start, and the Jews, his men, were leaving him. And he waited 1 day, a second day, a third day. By the time it came to the seventh day, he was left with just a couple hundred people. And his whole army deserted him. All the Jewish people were hiding in the caves. They were petrified. The Philistines were about to start attacking. And the last few soldiers that were with him told him, we gotta move on. We gotta start attacking, otherwise we're gonna be wiped out. And I have to wait. He was waiting. And they were putting pressure like crazy on him. And then he's like, you know what? We'll just start the sacrifices now. We'll start bringing sacrifices. And hopefully Samuel will come and he will finish off. They were supposed to,
Sacrifices?
yeah, because Shmuel said, wait for me, we'll bring sacrifices. So he had to wait for him. So they built the altar, and he was like trying to stall for time, but he wasn't able to stall for time. So they slaughtered the first sacrifice, and all of a sudden Samuel shows up, and he says, "You failed." Like it was a test. God was testing him to see are you gonna wait. It's a famous test of Shaul. Shaul didn't wait for Shmuel. Anyway, second test was he was
And they
told.
lost that war. They lost that battle because of that.
No, they won, but he failed the test. The second story that happened was God told him to wipe out all the
Amorites.
No,
Amaleks.
Amaleks. Yeah.
Amalekites.
Analogy.
Amalekim. And he wiped them out, but he didn't wipe out the animals
The women and children.
and the women and children. And the king,
was an
he
animal.
left him alive in order to give the honor to Shmuel to kill. And that was a big mistake. And God was very angry with him.
The king turned himself into an animal.
Yeah, they did witchcraft, whatever. We're not going to get into the details now.
But he got away.
That's not important for the story where we're getting to. Basically, he failed these two tests, and Samuel told him that Hashem is not happy with you being king anymore. He's going to take the kingdom away from you and give it to someone else. Different part of the story, Samuel goes and he anoints young 18-year-old King David. David, he was a shepherd, redheaded shepherd.
David Ben Nun?
Redheaded.
David ben Yishai.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He goes to Yishai's family.
How do you know he's redheaded?
It says.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it says he was a redhead. Admoini. He actually had a temperament of being Edom, like Esau.
Oh,
But he-
Chabadnik.
No, being anger, like redhead, ginger. You never heard of it?
Gingers.
Yeah, Chabadnik. Most of
Chabadnik?
us.
I mean,
noticed
me.
a lot of
He had a
Jews
temper?
are, red.
Yeah.
Red.
Not a lot
of them are red.
a lot of
But he
Chabadnik.
used it for
Yeah, a lot
good.
of Jews
He
and a lot of
controlled it.
Chabadniks.
Esau had the same temperament, but he used it for not good. David used it for good. Anyways, so he was a little 18-year-old shepherd, not involved in
He was
anything.
hanging out
But,
with Jonathan, getting in any trouble.
no, that's later.
Oh, then later he got into
So
trouble.
first he was anointed. Samuel comes to him and says, "You're being anointed now as the Jewish king." What?
This
Yeah.
is great.
Now King Saul was still king, so David didn't want to say anything about it, so he kept quiet. But at that
But
point that Samuel anointed King David, the spirit of Hashem left Saul and went to David, and that's when Saul, it says he went crazy, but he didn't really go crazy. He had evil spirits coming in because the spirit of Hashem left him. So he would go mad from time to time. And they actually brought David, from all people, to calm him down because he would play the lyre. He would play the lyre, and that would calm Saul down. Anyways, a lot of stories went on, but as the stories...
He lost his Shekhinah? What did he
Yeah,
lose?
there's the special spirit of Hashem that rested him as being king. When after David killed the story of David and Goliath, he killed Goliath, and then Saul started realizing more and more that David is taking away his power, and he's out to get him, and he felt really not from an egoistic place, but he really felt that it was wrong for him to act as king, conduct himself as king when he's not yet king. He did not know that Samuel anointed him as king. He didn't know that.
How would he not know that?
He was never told.
Why wouldn't Shmuel tell him?
Shmuel didn't tell him.
Why?
That's the way it was supposed to be.
Don't you have to be physically anointed to be king?
He was. David was a physically anointed.
Physically
Yeah,
anointed
he
at 18?
poured oil. Yeah,
Oh, they
yeah,
did,
yeah,
okay.
they did.
By the prophet.
Yeah, but Saul didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
So
not
he
Saul.
we said
Talk about a
we said.
layoff.
So he Saul, not egoistically, felt that David has to be put away with because he's right now rebelling against him as king. And if someone rebels against the king,
He's trying to
it's
take the
meant to
throne.
be. Yeah, that's what he really thought.
Are you saying that if Shaul knew that Shmuel anointed David, he wouldn't have done what
I
he
think
did?
so. I didn't
It's
see.
interesting
I think so.
point,
I think so.
because maybe the point was that
All the
Shmuel-
Svarim keep on saying that Shaul was a tzaddik and Shaul was a tzaddik and
Right.
Shaul was a tzaddik. So I'm assuming that he didn't know.
Maybe for whatever reason, Shmuel knew that David had to go through this persecution.
Probably.
Shaul,
I'm guessing.
I mean, half of Tehillim is like he's
Right.
writing from Shaul and he's writing this like
Right.
he's being chased.
So for the next couple of years, Saul is gonna chase David,
David, yeah.
and there's many stories about that.
Tzitzis,
And this is that. This was an introduction to the next story. Okay. So one of those chasing that happened, Saul was chasing David,
Pursuits.
pursuing. David got himself a group of men.
This could be what made David great when he finally did become king and took power. Made him who he was.
Right.
I
You have to go through. Right. A lot of leaders have to go through some type of challenges. So one of these pursuits, David had a group of men that were loyal to him, not strong men, but very determined and very loyal men. The original group of people that he had with him were Anashim Reikim. It says empty people that didn't have any point purpose in life, people that were depressed, people that were like
No
basically
spirituality.
whatever, just like simple
Empty.
people. And they saw David was being pursued, and they're like, "Hey, we'll join you." And David needed some men, so he took them and he took care of them. So that became David's group. And Saul was coming with thousands of soldiers, and they're trying to find them. So during one of these pursuits, David was in a cave, secluded cave, in the back of the cave with his men, hiding. And they hear noise, and believe it or not, Saul himself needed to use the bathroom. And he went away from his men, and there was a pen, animal's pen. He went into that pen. In that pen, there was another pen, and then there was a cave, and in the cave, there was a deeper cave. And that's where David was hiding all the way in the back. And Saul walks right into the cave to use the bathroom by himself.
The same cave.
The same cave.
What are the odds?
All right. And he uses the bathroom, and they're in the back of the cave, and they're looking to the front. You know how it works. If you're in a dark place and you're looking to the front, you see what's going on. They can't see you, right? So they get a perfect view of Saul, and he told,
He's walking with a candle in the
right? And Saul can't see them. And they say, all his men say, "Go kill him. This is your chance." No, I'm not going to touch him. You have to. He's coming to kill you. According to the Torah, if someone's running after you, you got to kill.
You should.
And finally he said, "Okay, I'm going." He goes, he leaves his men, takes a sword, he comes close, and he cuts off the corner of his coat, which where he had tzitzis of his coat, his
No,
robe.
I thought it was a tzitzit that he cut.
So he didn't have tzitzit like we have today. In those days, tzitzit was
Only
Was
four
tzitzis. Was actually sewed onto clothing, onto garments. Not like today that we put on a garment that's called tzitzis. They would have a robe or whatever they were wearing, and on the corners of that robe they would put the strings on. So he cut off one of the corners of his clothing, but he didn't kill him.
While he was wearing it, he cut a corner.
Yeah, and did it quietly. Shaul had no idea. Shaul leaves the cave. He goes further away, closer to his men. David comes out from the cave, and when feels at a safe distance, he calls out to him, and he says, "Shaul, Saul." Shaul turns around. He's surprised to see David. Oh, and he tells him, he shows him this clothing, and he says, "This is how close I was to you. See my sword? I just chopped this off." He looks at his jacket. He sees it cut off, and he says, "I was able to kill you, but I had mercy on you. I didn't kill you, so stop chasing me." And basically, Shaul felt bad, and he told him, "Okay, whatever. I'm not going to chase you anymore." But it was only short-lived.
Yeah, it usually is.
Okay. Anyways, so now we're going to talk about that story. So when David used the words, and he told him, I was going to kill you, and I had mercy on you. So he doesn't say, "I was going to." He speaks in third person. He says, David spoke. He doesn't say David. He says, it was said that we should kill you, and they had mercy. He speaks in third person. So the Gemara wants to know, why did David speak in third person when he's speaking to Shaul? And the Gemara answers that David was giving over a message. He was saying that they said to kill you, meaning the Torah said I should kill you. The Torah says that if someone's running after you to kill you, you have a commandment to go ahead and kill him. It says in Exodus, if someone is breaking into your house, middle of the night, you go ahead and kill him. It says it. Why? Because if he would see that if you would stand up against him, he would kill you. So you have a right to kill him. So self-defense. Not always, but only if you know someone's coming with an intent to kill you. You have a mitzvah to kill him.
Think they're breaking into your house to give you a Torah lesson?
So the Torah says I should kill you, and then he says, but he didn't say I had mercy on you. When he says in third person, what he meant to say is, your modesty that you had in the bathroom, that's what saved you. So what does that mean?
David is saying that to
David,
Shaul?
yeah. He said, your modesty is what saved you. So what does that mean? When David says, I noticed how modest you were, that you left your men, you put yourself in danger, you leave your men, to go all the way in from one pen into another pen into the cave to the cave, just to use the bathroom. And even when you're using the bathroom, it says even when he came into the cave, he covered himself as he was making. He covered himself. He didn't know he was in the cave, but he still he covered himself modestly when he was in the cave. He said that modesty is what saved you. So the commentators want to know how halachically was he allowed to do that? If the Torah says you have to kill him, what right does it say? What right did David have not to kill him?
Oh, so there's an exception.
And he said that when David saw how modest he was and how pious he was, even though no one was watching, he's still being so pious. David knew with a certainty there's no way in the end of the day that Shaul is going to kill him. Maybe he's going to run after you, he's going to arrest you, but he's not going to kill you. If he's such a pious person, he's not going to kill for nothing. He's not going to kill. And he said, if he's not going to kill me, then I'm not allowed to kill him. There's a little bit more about this story, but we'll continue next week.
David said that?
Yeah.